Hello everyone, ShadowMoon97 here, and today I am back playing more Battle Cats. So for starters, I'm going to go ahead and check on Gamatoto here. There isn't really much of interest here. He's at level 20. We got some cat food. Not super useful, but hey, we shall send him on another expedition. And then we'll move on to the Cat Scratcher, where we can get up to about 150 cat food at the most, and none at the least. So, and we got 100, which is better than nothing. Could have been better, but hey, it's better than getting nothing. So, um, yeah. And then I am going to go ahead and do some polls for rare tickets. I'm going to go ahead and do an 11 pull on the Dark Heroes, and then I'm going to go ahead and use my 5 rare tickets up on them in the hopes of getting something good. So, yep. So, for starters, we have a Thief Cat, which is not very good, but hopefully we'll get something better. We did get a Fortune Teller, which is better. Hey, we did get something new at the very least. We got a super rare Backhoe Cat. That'll be nice. We got something new. We got another super rare. This Freshman Cat Jobs. We got Matador Cat, Gunslinger, Rocker, who's very useful, Gardener, who is also very useful. Another new super rare. Would you look at that? Things are turning out good for us so far. We got Cat Base Mini and another Gardener. Another super rare, that's really, really good. This one is a Swimmer Cat. And that was it for the 11 pull. Now we'll go ahead and do the 5 pulls. Maybe we can get a new Uber, but I don't know, we'll see. We did get Stilts Cat. And now we have gotten another Thief. That's fine. We still have 3 more pulls left. Let's see if we can get something good. This time around, we got a Witch Cat. That's fine. Not really anything great. But, you know. Another Gardener Cat will be useful, but not amazing. Can we get something good? Another Stilts Cat. Unfortunately, we did not get... Well, hold on. Let's do the starter special. New rare cat at the very least. We got Shaman Cat. So, we didn't get a new Uber, but at least we did get some new cats, so better than nothing. Let me go ahead and get all these used, and then we'll move on. Alright, now that we have used up all the cats, we have a new rank reward here. We are now able to level up non-craze super rares to level 30. Not super useful at the moment, but that will be super helpful later on. So let me get the cat food from our new cats, and then we'll do some levels. Alright, starting off, we are currently at Germany. So everything's half energy cost at the moment. So we'll have some things to do. I currently have 10 speed ups. I might buy more with cat food depending, but for now we do have 10, which should get us through quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and put on a loadout, so it's not just a bunch of lion cats going out there, because upon realization of grinding, it is kind of boring to watch. So, give me a minute and I will be right back. Alrighty, now that I have a loadout set up, let's head to Germany. Not sure what's going to be here. It seems like quite a bit along level, but whether or not there is going to be a boss is questionable. So, I do have Monk Cat and Fisherman Cat on here, as well as Commando. Both Monk and Fisherman I have up to level 30. which will be helpful for the moon, which I do plan on getting to today in this episode. So, yeah. So, we probably still have quite a bit to go through, but we will definitely get through it today. So, might be a bit of a longer episode, but I don't think y'all seem to mind. So, that's good. We didn't get a treasure. We did get 69. If you heard that, that was my cat Dark. Anyways, that we did get 69,000 experience points, so we are now back up to 109,000, which will be super useful in continuing to level up our cats, so we can get them as strong as we possibly can at the moment for when we reach the moon. Now we are moving on to Denmark. Yay! It looks pretty empty here. I don't know. We didn't get a boss in the last level, so we may or may not get one this time around. I have no idea. But yeah. Okay, so we do have a boss. We have an elephant. Shouldn't be too difficult, I hope. Currently, we are mark my case. I was about to say we were doing a lot of damage, in which we did, because we killed him. So, yay. Still no treasures, but it's fine. I wouldn't expect it, considering there isn't a, treasure thing going on right now. There's only the half energy cost. But we will move on to Norway. Seems like we're gonna have an easier time due to the less amount of, energy. And it is snowing here. Yay! Except I kind of hate snow because it's cold. I sound like every old person ever, like... I like looking at snow, but I do not like touching it. Maybe it's just me not liking the cold, which a lot of people don't, but at the same point, even if I am, like, wearing gloves, I still don't like touching snow. I don't know. But hey, we did get a treasure. We got normal income tax. Love taxes. Anyway. And now we are on to the United Kingdom. Yay! We're at all of the European countries at once, except for England, because England is technically no longer a part of the United Kingdom, so we are more so just at, like, France and, I totally forget what else is a part of the United Kingdom right now, but France is one of them. England is not. So yay. We beat the United Kingdom, not including England. Now we are on to Greenland, which, to be fair, I don't think it's technically a country. I do believe that Greenland is technically a territory. The snowiness is very accurate, though. Because if you didn't know, Greenland is actually covered in ice and snow, whereas Iceland is actually more green. So should the names of the two technically be swapped? Probably, but it's basically a matter of... the naming process was wanting to get people to come over to Greenland instead of Iceland, so... But we did get 78,000 experience points, didn't get another treasure, but now we are on to Canada, where they have free health insurance. Yay! Also, this is a terrible looking waterfall. At least I assume the base is supposed to be a waterfall, but... yeah. Gorillas! Goodbye, gorillas. Not that we got much for our troubles of beating the gorillas. New York. I actually had the opportunity to go to New York City once. I skipped out on it because I was terrified of being around so many people, but I did have the opportunity, I just didn't go. So do I ever plan on visiting New York in the future? Probably not, but you never know, might change my plans. They are now leaving New York with an inferior musical. That does beg the question as to what an inferior musical would be. Name down in the comments below, what's your least favorite musical? Alright, let's move on to Bermuda now. We love Bermuda. Okay, there is airplane now, because we are in the Bermuda, and airplanes and boats disappear in the Bermuda Triangle. And my cat is now on top of the door. But anyway, we're fighting kangaroos. Make that one kangaroo and it is dead, so we are no longer fighting said one kangaroo. And we got 85,000 experience points. And my cat is staring at the door. Dark. Now that I have returned, we are moving on to Jamaica. And we are at a beach. Which I, in real life, haven't been to a beach in quite a while. Honestly, don't even remember the last time I was out at a beach. But that is besides the point. Also, I just now noticed, somehow, that the monk cat has no ears. I don't know how I only just now noticed that, but, oh well, we got inferior steel beans. Why are the beans made out of steel? We'll never know, but we are now moving on to Colombia. And it is very green here in Colombia. And there are doges. Which there are usually doges. But we shall fight against the doges. Because the doges are not that difficult. Neither are the snicks. Okay, so there wasn't anything difficult. We got 89,000 experience points. We beat Colombia. We are currently at Brazil. Give me a moment. I will count how many levels we have left to do, and then I'll think about getting speed ups depending on if we have too many. So, give me a second. Okay, so we are currently on level 38, which means we have 10 more levels to do, so I am going to go ahead and buy some speed ups. Wrong shop. Need the store, and we need the speed ups. I will go ahead and purchase 2, so we'll use 100 cat food, but we'll have 18 speed ups, whichever ones we don't use today will bleed into the next episode, so having extras left over will be useful. But now, finally, we get to move on to Brazil. And there is a dancing lady at Brazil with 2 elephants. Yippee! There's a moth at Brazil. I actually really like moths. It's kind of weird, but I honestly think moths are adorable, and I kind of prefer them over butterflies. Yeah. I know, it's strange. You would think most people would prefer butterflies over moths, but I honestly think moths are cuter. Because they're fuzzy. But now that we're done talking about moths, we shall move on to Argentina. where there might be mods, but there also might not be mods. And there is a guy in Argentina. yeah, there's only one guy in Argentina, one singular man. No other men. There's just the one, and it's this guy on the base. He's the only man in Argentina. I'm just kidding. I have no idea how many people live in Argentina. I honestly couldn't even begin to tell you how big the country is, so... but we did get 94,000 experience points. Makes up for my lack of geographical knowledge. And we move on to Machu Picchu. I did, at one point in school, I did read some articles about Machu Picchu. I don't really remember any of them because that was a good couple years ago, so yeah, but Machu Picchu does seem very interesting, and I could understand why it would be a popular tourist destination. But, we're moving on from there relatively quickly. But now we get to move on to Easter Island with the stone heads. I don't really know much of anything about Easter Island, but yeah. So far we have had a rhino to beat. We did end up killing the rhino. Now we have another rhino. We'll probably end up killing it just as quickly as we did the first one. Yeah, we did. Man, I meant to send out my hacker cat. It didn't let me. Now I'm sad. But we're gonna just move on past that and go to Mexico, where it is deserty. I honestly, not gonna lie, can't seem to figure out why someone would want to live in a desert-y area. I mean, it's super, super hot. But, I mean, to each their own, you know, if it were me, I'd personally prefer weather that's, like, minimum 55 degrees Fahrenheit to maximum 72 degrees Fahrenheit. So, you know, but we did get 100k experience points. We are currently at over 1 million. So before we end up taking on the moon, I will go ahead and do some leveling up of things. But for now, we are moving on to NASA. Is there anything cool at NASA? Nah, not really. You know, it would have been really, really cool if, like, some of the backgrounds in the, Empire of Cats chapters were, like, as cool as, say, Cats of the Cosmos backgrounds, but, like, they're kind of just lame. Maybe it's just because they're, like, older, so, but I don't know. Like, for NASA, I feel like it really would have been cool to have some sort of, like, night background with stars and the moon, and maybe, like, a space station in the background, like the one that is currently the base, but I don't know. It's kind of like sunset-y sort of background is kind of not that cool, but we'll go to Las Vegas now. Do some gambling. I'm just kidding. Do not do gambling. Please. It could terribly ruin your life. But, we are here to destroy Las Vegas and their casinos because we despise gambling. You know, I say that, but I'm literally playing a game where gambling is involved. But, I mean, I'm not, like, spending money on it, so I guess it's fine. Like, even with games like Genshin and Honkai Star Rail, which are both really, really entertaining and fun, I still don't spend money on either of them. I'm a free-to-play player, which I mean is probably part of the reason why my luck in those games are so bad, but that is besides the point, because now we are moving on to Hollywood. That's because we are so simply famous. We get to go to Hollywood because we're famous now. Look at us. We got 3 golden backgrounds here, man. We're so famous. And fabulous. I need to stop, like, spazzing out with the camera and just going back and forth constantly. My bad. But we are at Hollywood. We are fighting a penguin. The penguin is dead. I don't know why there was a penguin at Hollywood to begin with, but that is beside the point. And we have inferior actress hair. So is it a really, really cheap and bad wig? Or is it just a really, really bad actress? Or both? Anyway, we're moving on to Alaska now. So we are definitely getting closer to the moon, which is great. There are squirrels in Alaska. That is a lot of squirrels. But we killed the squirrels. Oh no, there's more squirrels. Squirrels, no! We killed the rest of the squirrels. Now we move on to moose base. Moose base. And there's a bear. Oh hey, a moth. I love moths. I know I've already said that, but I really need to say it again because I really do like moths. I think they're adorable. In fact, I myself want a pet moth. Which I know they don't live very long, but I would like a pet moth anyway. Okay, so we are on to the second to last level in Empire of Cats. We are now on Hawaii. After this, I will go ahead and level up some cats, and then we'll finally move on to the moon. But for now, we have some volcanoes to deal with. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, seeing all these penguins here in Hawaii, I wonder how much each of the levels in Empire of Cats would have changed if Ponos had picked enemies that were in that region. Like, instead of penguins being in Hawaii, there were, I don't know what animals in Hawaii, and so, I don't know, I've never been to Hawaii, but basically just saying, like, animals that are found in that region versus just random enemies in each level. Because there are no penguins in Hawaii, they would not be able to live there well. But now, as you can see, we are on the moon. We have 8 speed-ups left, which we will use 1 for this. However, I am going to go ahead and take the moment to level up some cats with my 1.8 million experience points, so give me a moment and I will be right back. Okay, so I managed to get both Magica Cat up and Commando Cat. However, Commando Cat is now level 30, whereas Magica is only at level 28, but we should be fine. So, welcome to the moon. I don't know if I want to use any other power-ups, because I do have 41 snipers. No, I think we'll be good. I will use them if we end up failing this first time round, but I think we'll be fine. For now, we are currently being bombarded by a kangaroo, a seal, and a bunch of little stickmen. But we killed the kangaroo, so now we have nothing left. Except for the enemies that are currently coming our way. And we have a moth again. Which is very fitting. Because there is going to be a floating enemy as the main boss in this level. I don't know if I should have waited to use my cat cannon until after we got the boss out, but it's fine. We can't deploy anymore, oh no. I'm sure that'll probably change here in a second, though. Yep. Just keep throwing cats at him, and eventually we'll get the big boss out. And eventually we will kill him and defeat the moon. Maybe, if we can ever do enough damage to the base to get him out of here. Out in here. Whatever. But I'll just keep spamming our cats. Alright, here he is! The boss of the moon, Bun Bun. Let's go, bro. He does only do single attacks, so having mute shields is a really, really good idea. So, currently, he's doing quite a bit of damage. Oh no. However, he hasn't gotten to our hacker cat, and we sent out another hacker cat, which is great. Maybe don't send out Titan, I guess, because he doesn't really seem to be doing much help. It just kind of gets right in front and dies immediately. So, yeah. Well, I'll stop sending him out. I'll just focus on... Why do I have 4 cat in here? Anyway, we'll just focus on sending the rest of the cats out, but I'll go ahead and skip out on Titan, because he doesn't really seem to help all that much. So, this is taking a little bit longer than I had anticipated. But we are pushing him back towards his base more than he's pushing us back towards our base. So, there is at least that. We are doing something good. We did send out another hacker. So, we got that super long range, which is kind of helpful. Yeah, but, yeah, this is kind of taking a hot minute. I honestly figured it wouldn't have taken this long, so I'm glad I put the speed up on. Because otherwise this would have... Oh, hey! But otherwise this would have taken forever. However, we did finally kill Bun Bun, so now we just gotta destroy the base, get past all these enemies, get the base destroyed, and we will finally be done with Empire of Cats. Plus, we'll get Bahamut Cat, who is one of the strongest DPS characters in the game and is super, super helpful later on. We're getting so close now. We're almost done. And we are done. We beat the moon, you guys. We got 114,000 experience points. We didn't get a treasure, but it's okay. I'll come back to that later and grind for the rest of the treasures before we move on to into the future. But we finally beat the moon. We have all the text here. We're not going to worry about that. We now have the cat fruit storage unlocked. I don't believe I have any cat fruit or seeds at the moment, so it doesn't really matter to me at the moment. But now we finally got Bahamut Cat. Let's go. So, let me show you Bahamut Cat after they tell me about the champion sale and other special sales, but I'm not worrying about that right now. We also did complete 2 missions, so we got 20 cat food and 100 cat food, which makes up for the 100 that I spent on speed ups, because we got that 100 back plus 20 more. I did not want to go 2 XP, that was my bad. And scroll all the way down here, and now we have Bahamut. I won't use him at all in this episode, however, I will work on getting him leveled up all the way, but for now, he is at level 7. We'll go to the menu, get the cat fruit, or the, not cat fruit, cat food, my bad. And we'll finish things off here. If you guys enjoyed this video, please comment, like, subscribe, share this video with your friends, and I will see you all next time. Bye, guys!